Well, Moxy, today's been a very sad day, and I am actually a very sad person today.
You're always a very sad person.
That's not true. I'm actually very optimistic and very happy person in most days, but I'm very sad today. The day we were recording this is the day that it was announced that Rush Limbaugh passed away, and so I wanted to start off this podcast by, no matter what side of the political aisle you stand on, sit on, or whatever, Rush Limbaugh.
Wait, who sits on a political line? That's interesting.
Lots of people, if you believe it or not, lots of people do. But no matter what you believe, no matter if you listen to him or not, he was a big figure in the political culture and a big figure in talk radio. And realistically, if you listen to podcasts, and which you probably do since you're listening to this podcast, you have Rush Limbaugh to thank, because he really mastered the element of talk radio.
Someone I follow on Twitter today posted that, regardless of how you feel about Rush, how you feel about the information that he spread, how you feel about that, he really pioneered and mastered the art of talk radio. Like Ruben said, if you're listening to this podcast, we have him to thank for that. If you listen to talk radio, you have Rush Limbaugh to thank as one of the founders of that art. And so, I know that he was struggling with lung cancer. I know that it's got to be really hard on his family, and we really feel for them. Our hearts go out to them.
Yeah, absolutely. That didn't work out the way I wanted it to. There we go. So it was a short battle for him. It was only a little over a year that he battled stage 4 lung cancer. So our thoughts and prayers go out to the Limbaugh family. Limbaugh? I don't know why it's so hard to say his name. And I never listened to him really. I mean, I've listened to a couple clips here and there. He wasn't my cup of tea personally. But I mean, it's sad whenever the entertainment business loses a pioneer.
And I will say that he was diagnosed with that lung cancer back in 2020. I did some reading on him today. He was diagnosed with lung cancer back in 2020, January of last year, and through it all, he's still been working so hard to be on the air almost every day. He would take a day off or so whenever he had chemotherapy. But other than that, the man was still working right until the end. He's an incredible guy, regardless of how you feel about his political views. His work ethic speaks for itself. And everything that he did, everything that he accomplished, we mourn the loss of a pioneer in the entertainment field today, and our thoughts and prayers go out to the family.
Absolutely. And with that, we're going to kick off this week's episode of You're My Best Friend.
The following is a podcast about life.
Apparently,
I can't not listen to music.
Friendship and tacos.
Let me tell you this, dropping a taco is a national emergency.
This is You're My Best Friend. Now here are your hosts, Moxy and Ruben Jay.
Welcome to You're My Best Friend, a podcast about life, friendship, and tacos. My name is Ruben Jay.
And I'm Moxy Ann.
And Moxy, we have an incredible guest today. We're going to get to that here in just a second. But I have an apology that I actually have a couple apologies that I have.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
You apologizing?
We have to start off. I know it's a very rare thing. It'll probably never happen again. So take note of it. Write it in your journal, people, because I made a mistake on this episode.
Oh my gosh.
So
what is the mistake?
The first thing I need to apologize for is I need to apologize because I never uploaded the audio to last week's podcast. So I'm going to do it tonight as I finish up recording this episode almost 4 days late because somebody made me work on Sunday.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I know.
So I'm blaming you.
You're blaming me? How is this my fault?
Because I brought you donuts on Sunday and ended up having to work an entire 10-hour shift waving for your family.
They were very good donuts. And also, we really needed you. So thank you.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I'm like, I'm going to go drop off some donuts to my friends while they're at work. And
I told you.
it started off with no, you didn't answer me. You've been ignoring me for like 5 days now, and it turned into a hey, can you do us a favor? To 9 hours later, I'm finally leaving, but it was a good time. It was a good time. So I apologize to anybody who's been looking for the audio the last couple of days. I just didn't have a chance to get around to uploading the audio and the video. The video I was able to upload Friday night. Once I finished editing it, the audio I never got around to editing. So I'm just gonna take the audio from the video and upload it. So so it might be a little lower quality. The other apology I have to make is to this week's guest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I we have a great guest today, and at some point in our interview, I started calling him by the wrong name.
Oh my gosh!
And he was so gracious and so kind to not call it out. But I do want to apologize and let you know that he is not McGruff, who I believe is a cartoon character. No, McGruff. I believe is like a detective dog.
McGruff.
Yeah. This is McGruff right here. Let me see if I can pull him up here. Let's see if I can pull this guy up. Give me a second because I'm trying to do like 15 things at once.
I still can't believe you did that.
You didn't tell me what his name was, and even in the
I just figured a seasoned professional wouldn't need to be told.
Well, I also make sure to let people know the names of guests as they enter studios and stuff too. So, it's just a common courtesy. So this is McGruff. This is McGruff.
And just to clarify, this is not this week's guest.
Yeah, this is not this week's guest, and your microphone is still coming in really hot, Mox. I don't know what's going on your end. But I started calling the guy. Was his name Daniel?
Daniel, yeah.
I started calling him Daniel McGruff. I believe his real name is Daniel McGuffey.
Yes.
Is that it? McGuffey?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel terrible. Daniel, please accept my apologies. He waited until the very end of the show after he jumped through so many hoops to be like, oh, by the way, my last name isn't McGruff.
Oh,
so
just hurts my heart.
I need to apologize. I'm not going to change it in the edit because it'd be way too much work. But I think that I also think that the people need to hear me make an ass of myself in the middle of an interview. And it was funny because if you listen closely, you'll kind of sense at some point through the interview, I realized my mistake as well, and I stopped calling him by his name.
You're like, so hey, you.
Hey, buddy. So tell me a little more about your band, buddy.
Oh man. Well, thank you for apologizing. Thank you for leading with that.
Well, I mean, I wasn't going to wait till after the interview. That's a very mean thing to do.
That is true.
To lead people on. So, I do have a comment from a couple weeks ago here. Let me pull it up that I want to share with you. In the meantime, you should tell people about our Amazon link.
All right. So if you're listening to this, it means that you are not subscribed to our dollarinthejar.com support platform. There you go. And if you're not subscribed to that, it probably means you don't have any extra cash, which is totally fine. But if you still want to help support the podcast, here's one thing you can do. Go down to the link in our episode description. If you're on a streaming platform, it's going to be down there. If you're on YouTube, it's down there as well. And you will find an Amazon link. It looks like kind of a normal Amazon link. You click that, poof, it takes you to the Amazon homepage, and you're like, what the heck? How does this help support?
Back away from the microphone a little bit. I think that might be part of the problem.
You're like, what the heck? Like, I thought that this was going to help me support. How does this help? So what you want to do is when you get ready to buy something, make sure that you click that link to start your purchase. So to get to Amazon, click that link and then complete your purchase. And we are going to get 10% of your purchase. It's no cost to you. It's no added anything. It's just a great way that Amazon helps creators and helps to support us.
Sweet. You finally got through it without making any major mistakes. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Like 2 weeks ago, you're like, man, it keeps getting worse and worse. So you're doing better. So I have a buddy of mine who listens to the show, and he commented on a YouTube video. So by the way, if you comment on our YouTube video or one of our podcast pages, or even if you make a really cool comment on one of our Instagram posts or something, you might get a shout out. You might get the opportunity for us to actually talk about your comment on the show. So make sure you comment on our stuff.
Do it.
And if you don't,
then we're gonna come get you.
And we'll take you to tacos.
I was gonna say ice cream, but tacos is better.
But you don't get to eat any of the tacos. You get to watch us eat the tacos.
Ooh, the ultimate torture.
And then you have to buy us ice cream. There you go. Boom. Roasted. So my buddy Richard was saying, hey, I was telling Ruben that I feel like I know you, Moxy, but I've never met you. It's only from watching your episodes. I look forward to the live music from Moxy. I have a special request for some heart and some original music.
All righty. Well, thank you so much for watching. I feel like I know you too, even though I know nothing about you.
That was very
disingenuous. Yeah, I know.
Doing the rock star thing where, oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I got to go sanitize my hands. Because you coughed my general vicinity.
When I was starting out in music, I grew up homeschooled. And if you've listened to more than one of these episodes, you would probably know that. You'd probably know that I grew up homeschooled with no friends.
You were homeschooled?
I know. Crazy, right?
I've known you for so long. I thought you were just a normie.
Normie?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So I grew up homeschooled. I grew up with no friends. So my introduction to the world of society.
You still don't have any friends. So
I have so many friends. I have more friends than you do. That's like the whole purpose of this podcast.
I fired Moxy again. I'm looking at the studio right now, our little video thing, and she's completely out of the I wish I can share this. I can share the screen with you actually, but she was still talking while she was out of the stream. This is actually quite hilarious. Moxy, are you having a conversation with yourself?
No, I was talking to you.
I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, I know. I didn't care.
You just kept talking?
Yeah.
What do you think of our new graphics here?
I think that they're great. I like the pink.
It's purple, but okay.
It's pink.
It's purple, but okay.
Anyway, so like I was saying, my introduction to the world of society was being in a band. And it is hard to learn how to talk to people from going just from being on stage to then going to being off stage, because basically the way you learn to talk to people is, oh my gosh, thank you so much for coming. It's so great to see you again. We'll see you later. See you next time. And then that's it. And there's no substantial conversation. So actually, one of the reasons this podcast has been so good for me is to learn how to have those deep conversations and ask meaningful questions. So Ruben, I really have to thank you for that.
It's the world's cheapest speech therapy.
Actually, it's kind of expensive.
For me.
For both of us.
Anyhow. All right. We're going to jump into this week's episode. I hope you guys enjoy it. And if you don't, I blame the Cyclops.
The Cyclops?
Or whatever he was talking. What was he talking about? The triangle of tigers.
The what now?
The triangle of tigers.
The triangle of tigers?
Yeah, he talked about all the tigers that come together, and
I think he was talking about lions, dude. Are you okay?
We'll be back.
Welcome back to You're My Best Friend. We are super excited to be interviewing the lead singer of an LA-based band today. This band is called The Pride, and I had the absolute pleasure of working with this group and specifically with this singer just about a month ago. It was super fun. They have just released their EP and a killer music video. Please welcome to the show, Daniel McGuffey. Daniel, how you doing?
Hey, good. Thank you.
Thank you so much for...
Thank you. Sorry. Thanks so much for doing this, bro. I really appreciate all the trouble you've gone through in the last 10 minutes to make, actually 20 minutes to make this thing happen. So super excited to have you here. Moxy, why don't you go ahead and kick it off with some questions that you have prepared?
Okay. All right. So, Daniel, I did a little bit of research on the Pride, and I just wanted to hear, because I know you guys started your band last year, right around Valentine's Day?
Yeah, I mean, I think we kicked things off in 2015 with our first 4-song EP, and then we went on a bit of a hiatus as life kind of got in the way, as life tends to do, and we decided we got back together right at the beginning of 2000. Right at the end of 2019 with a bunch of new songs, and we just started recording midway through 2020.
Wow.
So yeah, so it was kind of like it was really starting things over. It was really starting from scratch and kind of building things back up from the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. And one of the things that I can't even imagine how hard it must have been, because I know Justin, your bass player, I know you guys, and I know that live performances are a huge part of what the Pride has, been oriented around. Talk a little bit about that, and it was probably really difficult going into 2020, expecting to be restarting and having a bunch of stuff going on, and then
Yeah, I guess you're talking about just the nature of the world we live in and the inability to play live.
Well, I guess
Yeah.
the question really is, obviously starting a band in 2020, you probably had the expectations of being able to go out and perform. And then literally you started, kind of restarted again on Valentine's Day of last year. About 3 weeks later, everything was shut down and we're told we can't do any of that stuff. So talk about the process of going through, with the expectation of what you had in the beginning of 2020 and then the reality of what 2020 ended up being for you guys.
Yeah, I think just the nature of being a creative person is acknowledging a need to be nimble and to be fluid in whatever you're doing. So, you always have a plan, and then life happens, and you have to transition. I think that happens to everybody in every facet of life. But yeah, I think we had written all these songs, and we were intent to get out and start playing our new set. And I think once things happened the way they did, it became clear that, okay, well, now this is a gift in a way, because this gives us time to record and buckle down on some other facet of our creativity. I think you always have to, or at least I always try to look at things that way. You're never blocked if you realize there's something else you can move to. There's somewhere else you can jump to. So yeah, we didn't get to play shows, but we got to record and release new music. And now when we start playing shows again, that music exists out there for the people we meet they can go listen to that. There's something for them after the show.
So did you feel like in the process of doing, of the pivot into the recording as opposed to performance, were you able to take your time and really develop the songs the way you wanted and the way that you heard them in your head? Because I feel like sometimes some bands, I'm not, pointing fingers at any bands or anybody in particular, but just kind of throwing this out there. Some bands kind of rush the creative process just to get out and perform more. Other bands like to take their time in between. What was that like for you going into the pivot mind switch for you from performance to production?
I don't think I've ever heard something in my head or visualized something in my head and seen it come out exactly the way I envisioned. I think that's really part of the process for me, is letting whatever happens happen and become the thing it's going to become. I start a lot of things with acoustic guitar and a simple melody, and by the time you introduce it to the band, sometimes things just happen. Sometimes a new riff or drum totally different feel gets introduced to a song, and it could be something that I never anticipated. And for me, a lot of it is kind of just surrendering to that and letting things happen. But as far as taking our time, we're really fortunate that Ryan, who is he plays guitar, and he's the guy who he produced everything. He produces all of our material, so, and mixes it and masters it. He does everything. So, you know, without him, none of this would exist. So what I'm getting at is he really took his time with it. And for a couple songs, we came back and we tracked vocals 2 or 3 times to try to get it right. And at the end of the day, we did have a deadline that we wanted to hit. So there was a point where we had to stop working on things. And for me, that's, oh my gosh, no matter what I'm doing in life, I need a deadline. I heard somebody say once, give an artist 3 years or three days and you're going to get the same result. And I think that's really true with me. At some point, I just have to say this, you know, this is done. Let's make the next thing.
Yeah, I feel that. I'm very much, I'm not a creative person whatsoever, really. I'm much more of like an analytical, like, let's just get stuff done. And, you know, I'm speaking for myself here, Moxy, you can correct me if I'm wrong. But I feel like she and I have like the complete opposite takes on stuff, where I'm just like, just put it out, just release it. We don't need to edit it. We don't need to do anything. And she's like, no, it needs to be perfect. It needs to stop. And so it's kind of fun to hear how musicians interact with other bandmates. Would you say it's an accurate thing, Mox?
Yeah, and you know what I've heard about not only musicians but students and people like creatives in general is that when you're a perfectionist, it's actually harder and more anxiety inducing to put things out, to release things, you know, for musicians especially. Like if you're a perfectionist, you're gonna keep continuously going over it and trying to fix it and trying to make it better. And there comes a certain point where it's, you know, it's a little bit torturous, honestly.
Yeah, I think so. And I guess I try to get over that by, yeah, I do have like a real perfectionist streak in me. And I realize that that's death, because if I didn't have a band, there's no way I would be putting music out at all, because I need some sort of accountability system to move things forward.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel indebted to the guys in my band to a certain extent, to like, I got to get out of my own way and stop being precious and just write more songs and let this thing become what it becomes.
Yeah, that honestly, myself as a musician, that's something that I really struggle with too. Like I was really good at pushing myself and staying on a timeline when I was in a band. And now that I'm not, it's like there's not accountability. Like if I feel like something needs more time, I just take more time. And it's hard to hold yourself to that. It's hard to be a self-starter when you're not in a group. I think that being in a band really helps with that.
100%. I mean, like, I'm taking boxing lessons right now, and I have complete potential to stand in the mirror and do the exercises that I'm doing in class, but I don't. When I show up somewhere and there's other people falling in line and committing to the routine, then I'm on board. And I've just kind of realized that in life. You know, I worked as a line cook for several years, and there's something about the momentum that other people bring to, whether it's a shift, you know, a shift at work or a creative project. I really try to embrace that more and make something ours instead of mine. If something's mine, it doesn't get done. That's just the way it is.
I can feel that in my soul. We're talking with Daniel McGruff of the band The Pride. Their new EP is called Too Damn Late. They have a single out called Over Myself. In just a second, I want to talk to you a little bit more about the name behind your band. But before we do that, Moxy, I think it's time for signature question numero uno.
Okay. So Daniel, if you haven't listened to any episodes before, this will be a surprise. Our podcast is we call it You're My Best Friend, a podcast about life, friendship, and tacos. And that tagline kind of wrote itself. But we ask each of our guests 3 signature questions, and some of them are harder than others. But the first one is probably the easiest, depending on who you are.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first signature question is, what is your favorite taco?
Yeah, I know that this is a question you ask, and I have come prepared. I really try to live my life, from the hip, but I've come prepared for this, and I'll try to just answer the question directly. But I could easily fill up hours talking about tacos because it's the perfect food. It's perfect, and I would say in Los Angeles, my favorite taco is a little place called Best Fish Taco in Ensenada. Ooh. And for those who haven't been there, they have 2 things on the menu: fish taco and shrimp taco. It's $1.25 or $1.50. I think that's the price. So, you go there, you drop $10, and it's one of the best meals you'll ever have. And they have a really fantastic salsa bar, and that's what makes it, including a really amazing pineapple salsa, and what is it? They have cabbage, and I want to say pickled radish. That's that's what you're really going for. And then the second is from my hometown in Texas, and Texas is synonymous with breakfast tacos. And I would point you to Super Taco, which is a little Mexican restaurant that's been there for about, I want to say 25 years, started connected to a gas station, as all great restaurants in Texas are. But Marble Falls, Texas, go get yourself a $2 breakfast taco at Super Taco. It's my favorite thing. I've traveled the world. I haven't found anything as good as that.
Wow.
I was recently listening. I want to say it was on MSNBC. No, CNBC. And they were doing a feature on the fad about tacos. And they said that Texas has the best tacos. But the big takeaway was they were talking about how Texas used to be known for its barbecue. But now Texas is known for its tacos. Would you agree? Do you think Texas is more known now for tacos or barbecue?
Oh, I mean, Texas is a big, big, big state. It's huge, and it's got a lot to offer. But those are the 2 things that make Texas food such a staple, I would say. But when I think Texas, when I go home, I am looking for tacos. I'm looking for Super Taco. I'm going to Taco Cabana, which is a chain in Texas that's been around for a long time. Those are the things that I gravitate towards.
When I go to Texas, the first thing I do is I find the dirtiest taco place I can find, and I order at least 5 off the menu. That's what you got to do, and that's my philosophy in life. So let's talk about the band a little bit more here. The band's called The Pride, and that's a really interesting name for me because I like bands with simple names. No need to have this long name that needs some long explanation. Something simple. But The Pride, it's a very simple name, but I'm sure there's a complex meaning behind it. Tell me a little bit about The Pride. Why The Pride? What was the choice behind that? And was it just one of those things where it's like, oh, this name isn't being used right now for in a musical stance?
Yeah, I think these days I try to acknowledge that when an idea comes to me, that it's not coming from me necessarily, and I should just take it and roll with it. And typically, if I get inspired by like a song idea or something creative, I usually, if I'm thinking about it for an extended period of time, if it keeps creeping into my head for days, weeks, months, I'm like, okay, this is something that I don't know, being tasked with carrying out is kind of how I look at it. And The Pride was a name that had been in my head for years, and I sort of like backwards I don't know what the term for this would be. I found a justification for its name later in life. I'm a huge Japanese culture fan, namely Ultraman, Kaiju, Godzilla, cartoons from the 80s and 90s, and Voltron has always been this symbol to me. I remember when I was a kid, I saw a kid playing with a Voltron on the playground, and for those who aren't familiar, Voltron I believe 1981 was when Matchbox first released Voltron, and it was this like 10-pound metal toy composed of 5 different lions: black, yellow, green, red, and blue. It was just this solid piece of craftsmanship, and it was very rare. I only saw it once or twice in my life, and once it wasn't being sold in stores anymore, I didn't see it again. So once I got older and I had some expendable income, it's kind of like that first thing that I tracked down. I was like, I gotta have that. I gotta have that Voltron. And I developed a real infatuation with Voltron. And to me, the name, the pride, it's a pride of lions. It's lions that come together separately to form something bigger than themselves. And that's what happens in Voltron. 5 lions unite to create one big lion that can take on the forces of evil. And that's it. It's really geeky. It's a really geeky explanation, but it's Voltron.
I love
That is
it.
amazing.
And
That's a great backstory there.
there's 4 of us, and Moxy, we recruited you for a song, and so the way I look at it is we keep one space open to pull in an additional ally when necessary. So we're always looking for that 5th lion to fill out the sound.
Well, anytime you need a 5th lion, I am down to fight the forces of evil.
Right on.
That is so awesome.
I never thought of Moxy as a lion before.
What, can't you tell? I have the mane.
Lioness.
So I wanted to talk about that specifically. So like you mentioned, I was able to sing on one of your songs, provide some background vocals for one of the songs off the most recent EP. EP is called Too Damn Late. It sounds so good, you guys. If you have not checked it out already, go check it out. Apple Music, Spotify, all over the place. And when I went in to record with you guys, you kept talking about this music video, and you were talking about like blowing stuff up and melted plastic and things being on fire. And I was just like, for the first 30 minutes, I was like, what the heck is going on? And so tell us about this music video. Tell us the one that you just released. It's for Over Myself, right?
Yeah, we have a video on YouTube for our song Over Myself. And yeah, we were telling you about fire and melting plastic. And yeah, some of that stuff didn't make it into the video because we wanted to make something, and we didn't have a lot of time or money. I know that's hard to believe, but I've been making music videos for a long time, and we just decided, okay, we're gonna make something. The budget we put into it was like I don't know, $400, because we used Ryan's iPhone, which is surprisingly fantastic. I moved to LA to make music videos. That was why I came here 15 years ago. And I was renting HD cameras back in the day that cost $1,000 a day. And then you had to convert the footage into a more workable format. And nothing was HD. And today you can just pull out your phone and shoot glorious high definition footage, and it's so fantastic and so easy to work with. But we used his phone because we didn't hire anybody. We got some lights. I got some lights from a Share Grid, which is a really great peer-to-peer gear rental site, and we took turns operating the camera. When Ryan performed, or when Brian performed, Brian's our drummer. I would operate the camera and I would tell Justin, "Hey Justin, watch what I do. This is how I hold the camera. These are the techniques I incorporate." And when I performed, Justin would hold the camera. We have if there's confetti being thrown, that's Ryan or Justin or Brian standing on a ladder dropping confetti on us. So it's just this like super DIY thing, and that is what I love about. That's why I got into this kind of stuff in the first place. Is let's get together, let's figure something out, let's have a game plan, but let's also be open to what happens in the moment. And yeah, it's just this. We made it in one night, and then it took me 3 weeks to edit, because if you watch it, it's full of animation. So I did all of the animated text that it's a lyric video, quote unquote, because that's, I don't know, that's what people do now. So I animated all the text for the lyrics, and yeah, it's out there on YouTube. And I would love for people to watch it, because do not know how to get people to go to YouTube and watch something anymore. So it's there.
It is killer.
Very
Thanks.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying how you get people to YouTube is very carefully.
Yeah, it is a killer music video. You guys did a fantastic job. I can't. When you said you shot that on an iPhone, I mean, I believe it, but like, I also can hardly believe that, because it's really good.
Dude, the iPhone rules. It's so powerful. It's so powerful. And then you just dump your footage from the iPhone to a computer, and you're like editing right away. And there's all kinds of cool little techniques you can incorporate to make it a powerful little machine. And I could have spent the money to get, the next level up, but whatever, man. We were just like, let's use what we got. Let's make something with the tools we have available.
Can I just, personal question for my own curiosity, what iPhone do you have?
We used his 11, and there's a really rad application you can download that kind of hacks the potential for the iPhone camera. It's called Filmic Pro, and it's a paid app, but it lets you dial in your frame rate, your shutter speed, and kind of take control of the look, and you can get that more filmic, cinematic look that we're used to seeing in music videos.
That's super cool.
So here's the crazy thing about the iPhone. There are, Apple about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago now, launched Apple TV Plus, and they originally did it as a way to obviously market the iPhone and all the Apple products, because you don't see anything other than Apple products in their shows. But now they're starting to make their entire TV shows for this service 100% off the iPhone. There's a new show coming out on Apple TV Plus that was shot 100% off an iPhone, and it's just insane. And obviously, post-production helps make it look even better than it does before.
Yeah.
But camera on iPhones are incredible, absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I love them and hate them, because it's like, oh, you have to have one, and mine is obsolete. So I have to upgrade, which I kind of hate. I wish I never had to upgrade again. But the fact of the matter is, my apps are becoming incompatible with my operating system, and it's just, I gotta play the game. But it is a powerful little machine. You gotta appreciate its virtues.
Well, again, we're here with Daniel McGruff from The Pride. Moxy, it's time for signature question número dos, por favor.
All right, Daniel, I was blown away by your answer to the first signature question, so I'm super excited to hear this one. If you had a life quote, what would it be?
I'd say take the best and leave the rest. I think there's so much. I try to. I'm not always successful at this, but I try to come at life by looking at where other people are right. So maybe there's not one belief system out there that makes complete sense for me, but probably the way everybody has their life structured, there's something I can learn from them. And I guess Voltron, it always comes into frame for me because I look at my life and I look at the people around me as the lions in my life. You know, I've got mentors. I've got people that I've worked with that have shown me how to manage finance, how to do better with relationships, how to take care of my body and my mind. And maybe not everybody has all the answers for you, but you know, be open-minded to what other people have to say and what's going right in their life, and learn from them, and build my life, my life philosophy and my belief system from the best parts of what other people have to offer.
That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome.
I feel like it can be so difficult today to, like, what you're saying about taking the best parts and just appreciating what people are doing, appreciating what they're accomplishing for what it is, instead of, you know, nitpicking and judging all the little things about it and not just seeing the bigger picture. That is a really insightful quote. I love that.
I mean, I'm also really good at judging, right? I'm really good at finding fault. That's something that's something I want to overcome and continue to work on. But yeah, there's I try to remember, I need to constantly be reminded that I really don't know much, right? I might not know anything. And when I'm reminded of that, it can be a really freeing sort of feeling, because once I recognize that, then I'm available to learn.
Yeah, that's important. I think, you know, a lot of the most successful people in the world, you know, will always will tell, you know, when they speak in public and they do these seminars, will say, hey, you know what, you know, surround yourself with people who are smarter than you, because if you're the smartest guy in the room, there's an issue, you know. And so I think there's definitely a certain level of, you know, surrounding yourselves with. I like to surround myself with people who've gone through life, and I tend to listen to their advice usually when they say, hey, you don't want to do that because here's what happens. Here's what happened to me when I did that. Maybe you should avoid this particular pitfall. You know, and so that's I really enjoyed that quote. Take the best, leave the rest. I think we should incorporate that somehow into our podcast, Mox.
I like that a lot. That we're definitely going to share that this week.
Right on.
Just by the way, we are going to be doing an overtime segment with Daniel here in just a little bit. So if you are not subscribed to our $1inthejar.com top tiers, make sure to sign up right now, so that way you can get the extra content with Daniel. So what's 2021 look like for you? Obviously, we're still waiting to see kind of what's happening with the pandemic and what we're allowed to do and not allowed to do, but there's some, you know, things are changing every single day. What's written in pencil for you guys right now?
Well, we've got a couple more songs that we are recording right now. So we had I guess we were trying to figure out in 2020, do we make an album? Do we release a string of singles? Do we release an EP? And I don't know what the you know, magic bullet is. Yeah. So we've got a couple singles that we're working on right now, and we're looking forward to releasing those. You know, hopefully in the next few months, or you know, when they're ready. But I think the goal for me is always, I just want to create the best content possible, and I try not to get too mired down with thinking about a release strategy or who is this for, or I try not to check any boxes, man. I just, if I'm excited about a song, that's what has to be foundation, you know, that's what has to be at the core. So I've got a bunch of stuff that I really want to write and start hashing out new material with the band, keep moving forward. You know, nobody's ever going to give you permission to, for things to go back to the way they were, or for you to get motivated and get to work. You kind of got to take the reins to a certain degree. So I just hope that we keep writing and keep making more content. I want to write hits, man. I want to write big catchy pop songs that people love, that endure the test of time. That's the goal.
Yeah. I think that's always, I mean, that so much of what you're saying in just in this conversation really resonates with me. And I think that it is so easy to get bogged down with thinking about release strategy. And is it better to release a single or an EP or an album? And like, what charts the best? And how do we get people here? And as much as we demonize record companies, like they do a good job of taking that off of our minds. But just like, just release music. And what you're saying is so good. Like, just create something good and release it. And the listens and the loves and the shares and all of that'll follow. So I think you guys are on the right track.
I hope so. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how, right before we started this podcast, I was researching Facebook ads for, how do you get funnel people to Spotify? And admittedly, I hate that. Maybe I hate doing that because I'm just not good at it, and I don't like doing things that I'm not good at. But maybe I get good at it, and maybe I figure out how. Oh, maybe I fall in love with marketing once I learn more about it. Who knows?
All the boring stuff to get people to listen to things, man. It's insane. But you know what? I've learned. Again, like I said, I'm not a musician. I'm not a creative. But I've learned that once you start putting stuff out that people like, people become this marketing machine for the people and the brands they believe in. So, I'm wearing an Alter Bridge shirt right now. I believe in this band. I love this band. I'm a Alter Bridge evangelist. I've saved a couple of souls already, and hopefully, for the pride, hopefully that comes, very soon, that you guys find a handful of people to start that are hardcore fans that just share your music and share your music videos and, put everything out, and just help the band organically, while also trying to figure out the marketing strategy of it all, because you need both. You need the organicness of it and the good quality product, but you also need, the strategy behind it. Just throwing things out there sometimes isn't always unfortunately doesn't always hit with a viral hit,
Right.
Yeah.
So Mox, let's jump into signature question numero tres.
All right, Daniel. So this is our last signature question, and this one is the doozy. I'm assuming you know about all the controversy. So signature question number 3 is: can you have more than one best friend
outside of your significant other and family?
Okay, I didn't know about this question. What can I ask for clarification?
Sure.
Okay, what is a best friend?
Oh, see, that's where that's up for enough interpretation.
Okay.
But I will say the only thing that we disqualify is significant others and family, because those relationships tend to be above and beyond just your friends.
You know what? I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to trust my gut. I'm going to say yes. And I'm going to make up my own definition here for a best friend. A best friend is somebody that you can just tell the truth to. That's what it is. This is what I'm feeling. This is what's happening in my life. I'm afraid. I'm insecure. I'm stoked about this. I'm not stoked about this. If you've got those people in your life who can then interpret what you're telling them, not from a place of judgment, but be open to you sacrifice their own time and need. I'm telling you this based on somebody I consider my best friend, who has set the template for me. They are somebody that will pick up the phone anytime I call. If they're not available, they'll get back to me as soon as possible. And whatever they got going on, they put it aside to find out whatever's going on in Daniel's world for just a second. You know, they put me at the forefront. That's taught me how to be a best friend to other people. And so because I know how John treats me, and because I know that I'm his best friend, I can treat people that way because he set such a good example. And because I know what that behavior looks like, yes, I have attracted more people like that into my life. I have multiple best friends. But John is the dude that taught me what it looks like, what the behavior looks like.
Yes.
Based off of your definition, the Starbucks barista is my best friend now. So I just
that's
fine.
That's
been true for a while.
As you can tell, I disagree, but
Okay.
we don't have to jump into that right now. You know, maybe Mox, this is just kind of a side note. Maybe we should dive into this deeper in our overtime segment with Daniel.
That's a good idea.
I think there's some meat to this discussion.
I think so. I think we should do it.
And in the meantime, head over to Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you like to listen to music, and download the EP Too Damn Late by The Pride. Head over to YouTube. Links in the description down below to watch the music video for Over Myself. Daniel, tell everybody where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, I'm pretty easy to find at McGuff. That's MICK_GUFF. And I think Instagram and Twitter are probably the places where I'm most active. I'm not cool. I don't have a TikTok yet. I know I'm supposed to get a TikTok.
That's about how I feel about. I just made my first TikTok video like 2 weeks ago. And up until that point, literally, it was just like, I know I'm supposed to do this. I just don't want to.
I've finally been like, I've been convinced. I've seen enough content that I enjoy, and I was an old man about it for a while, and I was just like, it's not for me. But I've been won over. There's cool stuff on there.
There is.
Let me just say this real quick. I've missed out on enough social medias because I've been an old man about them for too long. I'm signing up for every social media platform as it starts up, just in case it happens to be that, like, just because you're one of the first people on there, you happen to get all these followers. So I'm on every social media network now. That's one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about Clubhouse. Clubhouse is on fire right now, and it's only available to people on iPhone. So make sure to, if you have an iPhone, follow us on Clubhouse. But that's a different discussion for a different day. Daniel, thank you so much for doing this. Is there anything else that you wanna plug while you're here?
No, you're putting me on the spot. Yeah, I guess if you're in the Los Angeles area, there's a killer animal shelter called AGWC, Rock and Rescue. That's in Woodland Hills, and they need people to walk dogs and give some love to all the animals that they're giving shelter to. So yeah, drop by there and say hi. Meet some new friends.
Moxy, we have to go walk some dogs.
I would love to walk some dogs.
That sounds like a great time.
Dude, it's where I go when I wake up if I wake up in like a feeling of despair and just like, what is the point of life and why am I here? What's my purpose? Go walk some dogs and everything shifts. I'll have a new state of mind.
That's awesome. Go walk some dogs. We'll get some details in the description below for that as well. We're going to jump into overtime. So for us here in the studio, Daniel, I'm going to kick you out here for a second. We are going to be back after this quick random transition. I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
That was odd. Are you okay?
We'll talk off air. And
we're back with You're My Best Friend. That was an incredible interview we just had with Daniel McGuffey, not
McGruff. McGruff. We got to figure out a way. I don't know if there's a way for us to legally incorporate McGruff into our show, but we definitely have to figure out a way to do so.
I have questions for McGruff. Like, why is he wearing a trench coat and a tie?
He's a detective dog.
What kind of mysteries does he solve? Like, who ate all my food?
I don't remember. Let me look it up because I want to say he might be like a drug detective dog.
Oh my gosh.
McGruff, the crime dog, is an bloodhound created by Crime Prevention Council to increase crime. Oh, he's a guy. He's like the Smokey the Bear of crime prevention.
So it's like Smokey the Bear, but a dog and a cartoon.
Well, Smokey's a cartoon as well, but instead of it being only you can prevent forest fires, it's only you can prevent crime.
All right.
But of all things, like honestly, of all things to call this guy, I called him McGruff.
It was just word association. I mean, could have prevented it.
Of all things, like seriously, what is going on in my childhood that or in my adulthood that brought me back to McGruff? Because that's a '90s public school thing. So
was that like with the pencils that had Dare on them?
No, he wasn't associated with Dare, but Dare's a different thing.
Only you can prevent drugs. What?
That's no.
I don't know.
Dare is what did Dare stand for? Drugs. Drugs
are really epic.
Drug abuse resistance education is what Dare stood for. Oh, McGruff was part of Dare. Oh no, he wasn't.
Oh my gosh, really?
No, sorry. Google just combined my last two search results, and I'm kind of freaked out by that. Anyway, so thank you guys so much for tuning in. Moxy, do you have any final thoughts before we jump into our last thought?
That
was a weird thing to say.
That was really weird. What kind of final thoughts?
I have no idea. You're not.
Do you have any final thoughts?
Not necessarily, but I do want people to know that next week's episode, I'm going to be fangirling a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I have something good to talk about next week. I know it's your shtick, but we're gonna do like a double dose of something good.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Seriously?
Because something amazing happened to me this week.
Do I get to hear what it is?
I mean, this is like life-changing. Like, I've been waiting for this for such a very long time.
Did you get a girlfriend?
Even better.
Really?
Miles Kennedy's coming out with another record.
Oh my gosh. Are you serious?
I cannot wait to talk about it next week.
Are you serious right now?
What else did you think it was?
Well, can we talk about why you asked me for chocolate on Valentine's Day? In a bag with tissue paper? Is there a reason you accidentally took yourself out of the stream except for me? Instead of me? Oh my gosh, what am I doing? If you are listening to this on a streaming platform, Ruben just put the picture of McGruff up on the screen instead of either of us. He looks a little creepy. I don't know that I like that. Oh, he's getting closer. Oh man. All right, Ruben, are you ready to do one last thought? All right, so one last thought for this week. As we wrap up this week's episode, our hearts are really going out to the people who are struggling from what they have called the worst winter storm in the last 25 years or so. Texas has been hit by a historic winter storm. And if you're on Facebook at all, I know you've seen it. I know that you've seen some of the heartbreaking stories that are coming out of it. People who have lost water and power for more than 2 days. People whose houses I saw earlier online. These houses in Texas, they are built for heat. They're built insulated for heat so as not to let cool air out. They're not built the other way around. They're not built to keep cool out or to keep the cold out. So these people have lost all electricity. They've lost all of their water. They've lost everything, and they are stuck in their homes where in some places it's 38 degrees inside the house. So our hearts are going out to Texas right now, all parts of Texas that are affected by this. And this week's One Last Thought is a perseverance quote for anybody who is struggling with bursted pipes, loss of electricity, loss of water in Texas, people who literally don't have any food, don't have any water, don't have any warmth at all, and don't have a place to go. Great works are performed not by strength, but by perseverance. This is a quote from Samuel Johnson. He was an English writer in the 1700s who faced a lot of really significant struggles. And as millions are still without power, and a lot of people have been lost already, and we're probably going to lose a little bit more, I would just challenge you to remember you're doing great things, and it may feel like you're in the trenches right now and you're in the middle of it right now, but you guys can get through this, and our hearts are with you, our prayers are with you, and we are all with you. Yeah, Ruben's showing some really heartbreaking photos there. Man, I don't know how these people are gonna make it through. I know that it's all gonna be okay, but seeing those wind turbines frozen is really scary.
Yeah, our friend Larry Roberts is out in Texas, and he's been without power for 2 or 3 days now. My boss's children are out there, and their pipes are frozen. And I mean, I'm completely heartbroken, and it's funny because, in almost any other circumstance, you can, sending them something would help, and you're like, but we can't even, like, if we order them something on Amazon, like we order them a space heater on Amazon, it's not going to get there, because the roads are frozen, and so much is going on there. So if you're in Texas, our prayers are with you. I know it doesn't do much other than hopefully give you a sense of hope that the rest of the country is thinking of you as you guys are struggling. But once things start to defrost in Texas, reach out to us if there's anything that we can do to help. Please let us know. I have a lot of resources out here that are willing to send you guys whatever we can possibly send. So please just don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're going to do our best to make sure that if there's any Red Cross donations or anything like that starts happening around this situation, that we promote that and hopefully help with recovery efforts. I mean, I hope, if there's an opportunity for us to go out there, maybe even hand out food or something. I don't know if this is Texas or not. This is Texas. This is just a once in a 100 plus year occurrence. I know something similar to this happened like 2011, but not this bad.
This is the worst. This is definitely the worst they've had since 25 years ago, and it's called a polar front is what's hitting them. And they started advising that people take like precautionary measures a couple of days before it happened. People they were recommending basically that you stock food and water and anything else that you might need. So there are people out there who Texas isn't built for this.
No.
Texas is built for heat. It's not built for cold. And the very fact that the houses aren't insulated to keep the cold out speaks to that. These people, a lot of them don't know what to do. They don't know how to handle this.
Well,
my grandma, go ahead.
I was on top of that. A lot of people in Texas right now are from California.
Exactly. I was going to say that. Yeah.
Who also are used to this.
She was saying, I wonder if they know to keep the water running and fill up their bathtub with water so they have some to drink. But I went on Twitter earlier and I'm seeing water in people's toilets is frozen.
I mean, yeah, if it gets hot, if it gets hot enough, it sucks. And, hopefully those who decide to stay in Texas after this, y'all learn how to stock up on some stuff and get some campfire things or something. I don't know. I'm not really good at the advice when it comes to natural disasters. I'm not really the natural disaster type. But our prayers and thoughts with everyone suffering through this winter storm. I know there's other states that are also suffering, but Texas seems to be the one that's hit the hardest.
Yeah.
What's funny though is a bunch of my friends who live in Texas are like, yeah, this has all started out as fun. It's snow in Texas. Now we're all like frozen. And I'm like, I have friends who don't shop, don't go grocery shopping on the regular basis, and hopefully this taught them to stock up on canned goods and stuff that you can literally sit in your pantry for years before it goes bad. So with that being said, it's a really weird place to plug this, but do want to say thank you to our executive producer honorary
Ruben couldn't even make it through like 2 hours without Diet Snapple, and he's having struggles talking, so I don't think he can make it through a winter storm. What's that you got there?
Diet Snapple. Our honorary executive producer Richard Sanchez. The reason why I'm saying honorary is because I had dinner with him over the weekend, and he started telling me things he wants to see on the show, and I'm like, yo, bro. This is just an honorary title. It's not an actual like what is it called when you give somebody a like a doctorate, but they're not really a doctor.
Free
Emeritus
in name only.
Something like that. I don't know. Anyway,
officio.
Whatever it is, it's basically an honorary doctorate as a executive producer credit. But if you want to become one of our honorary executive producers, head over to $1inthejar.com. Sign up today. Actually, sign up like on Friday because we're switching over to Patreon. Just FYI. I haven't talked to you about you haven't answered my phone calls in about a week, so you don't know about what's going on with that service. So,
what is going on?
Yeah, we'll talk about it off air. All right, cool. That's all we got for you today. Make sure to follow us on social media. Our Instagram is
at Best Friend Podcast.
And I've been blocked on Facebook for the next 24 hours, so have a great time not seeing my comments. But if you want to follow us on Facebook, head over to facebook.com/The
Best Friend Show.
And, of course, our YouTube channel is in the description down below because that's a really long link. We'll be posting more clips and stuff on that YouTube channel, so make sure you subscribe to that one. Also subscribe to youtube.com/MultiMediaMouth.
Is that it?
You can follow me on social media at the Ruben Jay.
You can follow me on social media at Moxy and Music.
Hey, how's your TikTok going?
It's not. Got waylaid by Valentine's Day.
And with that, my name is Ruben Jay.
And I'm Moxy N.
And we
are out of time.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Hey, how do I turn this off? I don't know how to get rid of this Texas.
Oh my gosh.
Go away, Texas.